So welcome back to another video on this channel, and today I'm going to be doing something a bit different because of course Fulham did win the playoffs in the Championship last night, and in today's video I'm essentially going to be taking the three newly promoted sides to the Premier League and basically just going through them and analysing what I think they will do next season, how I think they will perform in the Premier League, and whether or not I think they will stay up at the first time of asking. So of course everybody knows at this stage that the three promoted teams from the Championship to the Premier League this season were Leeds United, West Bromwich Albion and of course Fulham. And yeah, overall of course three teams that have already been in the Premier League. I mean, Fulham only got relegated last season and come back up at the first time of asking. West Brom got relegated in 17-18 and took 2 seasons to get back up into the Premier League. And of course Leeds have been waiting 16 years to come back up. Of course they did get relegated from the Premier League in 2004. So yes, three teams that are very much used to playing Premier League football. Not so much Leeds of course, but West Brom and Fulham have been in the Premier League pretty recently. And yeah, let's get straight into this video analysing where I think these Premier League teams will finish in the Premier League and overall how I think they will fare. Starting off of course with the team that did walk away with the Championship last season, Leeds United, who did finish top of the Championship and are back in the Premier League after 16 long years of waiting. Now I think Leeds are the team that are most people's pick for like a mid-table finish like Sheffield United did this season. I think they have the most likely chance of staying up at the first time of asking in the Premier League this season. Mainly I think because of the club stature, and in the transfer window they're more than likely to spend like 50 or 60 million pounds, and they will manage to attract some very decent players because Leeds are, let's be honest, like top 7, top 8 clubs in England in terms of club size. And that of course coupled onto the squad that they're bringing into the Premier League, which has a decent amount of quality in it, and that of course coupled onto the manager in Marcelo Bielsa, who's, let's get it real, probably a world-class manager. I think that Leeds have every single thing going for them at the moment to not only really survive relegation but also make their fans proud and like finish in mid-table or maybe even challenge for Europe if things go their way. They play a very good brand of football, you know, high intensity. I think Marcelo Bielsa likes to get every single inch out of every single Leeds United player. He's very good at doing that. And yeah, as I said, they'll have money to spend of course to strengthen their squad. They're linked with the likes of Odsonne Edouard, Jonathan David, David Brooks from Bournemouth already in the transfer window, so if they can pull off a few decent signings I think they're only going to improve. And yeah, overall I'm very much looking forward to seeing Leeds United back in the Premier League. Of course the OG rivals with the likes of Manchester United, even the likes of Chelsea as well, my club of course. And yeah, I think that it's going to be a very positive thing to see Leeds back in the Premier League, and I think now that they're back I think they will stay up for a long period of time now. Second team now of course West Bromwich Albion, who did finish runners up to Leeds and did get promoted on the last day with a 2-2 draw against QPR. Now I think of the three teams that have been promoted and overall in all the teams in the Premier League going into next season, I think that West Bromwich Albion are pretty much everyone's favourites to go down, and I think West Brom have been treated a bit unfairly in their promotion to the Premier League because of course not many people wanted West Brom to go up because the reputation that they made themselves under Tony Pulis when they went down. Because over the last few years in the Premier League, West Brom were known as this team that didn't really play a good brand of football. They were kind of over physical and relied based on like long ball like the likes of Burnley nowadays. But from watching West Brom under Slaven Bilic last season, I think they are a lot different to what they were when they were in the Premier League in 2018. Like yeah, they don't play the best brand of football still, but they do play a lot better brand of football than what they did when they were in the Premier League previously. And they have some decent footballers like the likes of Mateus Pereira, Filip Kravinovic, who look like they're going to sign permanent deals at West Brom after loan spells last season. Also some great defensively minded midfielders like Romain Sawyers in holding midfield and also Semi Ajayi in centre back. They are also linked with the likes of Alfredo Morelos, who if they sign would be a very good signing for them up front because I think they do lack a striker going forward. And although they won't spend a lot of money, I think that West Brom could very much shock a few people next season in not only the brand of football that they play but also where they might finish in the Premier League, because although I do think that they probably will get relegated next season, I think that they could very much shock a few people including myself. Slaven Bilic of course, their manager formerly of West Ham, who did play some decent football at West Ham but in the end did get sacked. And I think Slaven Bilic really does have kind of a point to prove in the Premier League because of course he wasn't really highly tipped at West Ham, although he did do quite well for West Ham. In the end it didn't end well. And yeah, he's already said that the bulk of this West Brom squad that did earn the promotion will be the main squad that go into next season with, and they won't spend a heap of money in the transfer window. But all they need really is like 3 or 4 solid additions, and I think that West Brom can definitely compete for staying in the Premier League next season. And of course the third and final team that did manage to gain promotion to the Premier League at the first time of asking, Fulham, who did win the playoffs last night in a 2-1 victory over Brentford at Wembley. And like West Brom, another team that are kind of the favourites to go down from the bookies, and I think that yet again is because of the reputation they left in people's mouths after they got relegated in 2019. Although they did try and play a decent brand of football, I think that they didn't try and play it very well, and in the end their defence just really cost them. They were absolutely appalling defensively. But overall I think that Scott Parker's done a very good job in getting them back into the Premier League at the first time of asking with, let's be real, an absolutely deflated squad because they were absolutely horrendous towards the end of the 2019 season. And yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of underestimating the overall quality Fulham still have in their squad, the likes of Alexander Mitrovic, Anthony Knockaert, Ivan Cavallero. Fulham have some very good players going forward. I think that they mainly do need to strengthen the defence if they want to have any chance of staying up in the Premier League next season. In saying that though, I do not think that Fulham will spend the same amount of money as they spent in the 2018-19 season when they come up, because I think they have learned their lesson. Although I do think they will spend a little bit of money, I don't think it'll be to the same scale as they spent when they came up the first time. And Fulham again, like Leeds and West Brom, do quite play a good brand of football as well, so I'll be quite interested to see how they adapt that in the Premier League of course. And as well under a young English manager of course, Scott Parker, who's trying to make his name in in the game in his very first season as a professional manager, has managed to get Fulham in the Premier League, and it would be even more of a special achievement if he could keep them up at the first time of asking. And yeah, I'm going to top off this video now by asking you guys in the comment section below to leave your comments down below where you think Leeds, West Brom and Fulham will finish in the Premier League next season, based on, of course, pre-transfer window. And overall, I think it makes for a very, very enticing Premier League season next year, because although I think Leeds are like pretty much shoo-ins for survival at this moment in time, West Brom and Fulham are two teams that are definitely in the thick of the relegation battle going into next season, and I think that one of those two teams could surprise a lot of people. But yeah, overall it sets up for a very, very good Premier League season, which starts in 5 weeks time, and yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for it. And yeah, that's where we're going to leave this video, guys. So if you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like on the video, that'd be very much appreciated. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're very, very close to 200 subscribers. We're like 10 off at this moment in time. And yeah, see you guys in my next video. See ya.